All right, guys, welcome to another episode of the Range Talk podcast. My name is not Cisco.
And my name is not Isaiah.
And today we have a very interesting topic with you guys. We're going to be talking about what not to do with your airsoft AEGs.
Yeah, basically how to break your airsoft gun.
This is a speed run basically on how to go ahead and destroy everything that the good engineers overseas have done into building your airsoft gun. You're just going to say, fuck it, and just destroy everything.
Yep, absolutely. So, yeah, we actually have quite the list of things because there's a good amount of things that you could do to easily break your airsoft guns.
I kind of equate it almost like, obviously it's very different, but I almost kind of equate it to like cars or like automobiles, right? Where it's like, it doesn't matter how expensive or how nice or how well built the car is, you can always find a way to destroy it.
That's valid. That is absolutely valid. Like, it's funny, the immediate thing that I think of, like how to destroy your car easily, put diesel in it when it's gasoline.
Not change your oil. Let's see. That's another one, right? No coolant whatsoever. Nah, man, I'm too hot for that.
Oh, that's a good way to destroy it. But yeah, ways to destroy your airsoft gun.
I guess we'll go down the list. Basically, we have the list down written that we can go on. Again, maybe from like the smallest things you wouldn't expect to like some of the bigger ones. I guess we can go down. One of the biggest ones that I feel like maybe people like. Well, granted, if you've been playing for long enough, you know this one. But I guess for a lot of newer players, they're not really aware of it. Is the use of bad BBs.
Oh yeah, absolutely. We see this a lot in airsofters that are just getting started, that just discovered the sport, and they think that the BBs that they'll sell at their
sporting goods stores,
like Walmart, if they sell it anymore, or like Big Five, like those are good quality BBs because it is a like reputable store.
Yeah, it's Walmart
across the nation.
It's Wally World.
Yeah, it's Wally World.
They call it in the Midwest.
Oh, really?
I didn't know that they actually did. But like, yeah, we're going to Wally World.
That's amazing. But yeah, no. Contrary to popular belief,
they're not the same.
No, definitely not the same. Now, granted, you might. This is a big might, guys. Get lucky and find decent quality BBs at one of these sporting goods stores.
Yeah, no, it's not impossible because remember, we're not like making BBs ourselves. There's no like GI like manufactured BBs, right? Same thing goes for pretty much any store for the most part. All these like companies that are manufacturing their own BBs, it's like Elite Force, and even then, if you want to get in specifics, there's not that many companies even making BBs. But anyway, I digress. But when it comes to like these brands that sell the BBs themselves, they can pretty much go through whoever it is they want. So I wouldn't be surprised within like if they're not doing it already at some Walmarts, I wouldn't be surprised if in the future you could buy like Elite Force or like Lancer Tactical brand BBs at a Walmart or another various sporting goods stores. But if you don't recognize the same brands that you would from like an actual authorized airsoft retailer at say like a sporting goods store, then personally I just avoid it altogether.
Yeah, that's true. So actually it's funny because a few years ago I saw at a Big Five they actually had Elite Force BBs.
Oh, okay.
I was actually thoroughly impressed. Like I was in there for like boots or whatever, and I was just like, what are they? You know, I always go.
Yeah, you just want to kind of see what they got.
Just peruse the airsoft and real firearm stuff. What do they got over here? And I was actually thoroughly impressed that they had that. And I was like, wow, okay, stepping it up. All right, respect.
Improving their game a little.
Yeah, but like you will see airsoft BBs that look very well packaged.
Oh yeah, of course.
That'll come in like a bottle or one of those jars.
Or hell, they might even be like, they might be priced a little lower too.
Yeah.
I'm thinking, oh, this is too good of a deal. I can't miss out.
Yeah.
But this is one of those deals you definitely want to miss out on.
Yeah.
The BBs you get out of the packaging are going to be, they're definitely not the same quality. Like 100%. They're not going to be the same quality. They're not going to be the same like level of like finish that you would get on like a regular airsoft BB compared to one of those guys.
Ask me how I know.
How do we know? Ask us how we know.
Ask me how I know. I made that dumb decision.
We've all made it. We've all made it before, right? And, and I know what you're thinking too. Like, oh, but they got these cool translucent red BB.
Those are the ones.
Those are the worst.
Those green ones too, where you could see the seam of the mold.
You don't want to see that.
You see the air pocket in the. Do not use these BBs.
No, that is a terrible idea.
Yeah. Number one, the BBs are more than likely not going to be in the weight range that you want.
And let's assume that they are, right? Let's assume that they are. You know what you're doing for the most part, and you know that, okay, I have to go with a 0.2 millimeter. Because bear in mind, a lot of the BBs they sell will be like 0.12, 0.15 or some shit like that. But in the off chance you're like, okay, you recognize that. Good on you. 0.20. Just wrong spot to, buy them. those are not. You don't want to see the actual seam of the BB. It has to be seamless and it has to be polished to perfection, right?
Yeah.
You don't want to see the little air pocket inside looking like a Dragon Ball. You know,
it honestly shouldn't be translucent.
no,
Like that's just like those BBs. Like 10 times out of 10 will crack inside the gun or just shooting it and it impacting a surface.
yeah, it'll
And
just
that
shatter.
is detrimental to your airsoft gun. Just having a BB break inside the gun, you can get shards in the gearbox.
You gotta guys remember, like we mentioned on the last podcast, the inner barrel and hop up like setup, like that's a direct like funnel to your gearbox. Because remember, it makes contact with the air nozzle too, because that air nozzle is blowing air through the hop up chamber.
Yep.
It's pushing the BB forward. If you shatter that BB, it can go directly through that air nozzle. Because remember, it is technically speaking hollow and get inside your gearbox. We see it all the time, and that is actually one of the number one reasons or causes for a loss of a warranty
Yep.
with an airsoft gun.
Yeah, using poor BBs. That is actually, if you like, again, like that's I think 10 out of 10. If you look at your warranty card and it says gun destroyed with poor quality BBs, yeah, it's an easy, cheap way to break your gun. Do not do it. Again, look for a reputable brand that's recognized in airsoft. You know, Elite Force, Lance Tactical,
KWA.
G&G, KWA, ICS. There's tons of different companies. Now, I do want to say that there are only so many factories that make airsoft BBs.
Yeah.
But these companies, these reputable brands, they pay more to the factory to get them polished and made correctly, so they will perform optimally in your airsoft gun.
Is optimally a word?
We're gonna go with.
We're gonna go with it.
But yeah, like again, those cheaper BBs that you will see in a sporting goods store, especially anything 0.2 and below, are a definite negative. Do not do it. Now, granted, again, you could find those heavier weights, but I've made the mistake too. I saw bio BBs from, what was it? It was a Sport Chalet.
Sport Chalet, hell yeah.
Yeah, shout out recipes.
Recipes only.
And I bought those, right? They were 0.25 biodegradables, and I was like, all right, cool. But they were not polished. Like when you took them out, they were like powdery, and I was like, this is
it's a bad sign
way
right
back.
there.
This is like 2006, 2007.
Yeah,
I didn't know better. I just thought, oh, cool. Yeah, definitely a bad mistake. Destroyed magazines, destroyed airsoft guns. Again, go for a reputable brand in terms of BB. It'll save you a long run, or to save you the headache in the long run and help keep your gun running.
Yeah, manufacturers they'll look at that, the fact that you use bad BBs, and be like, all right, no more warranty. Like that is considered a user error, because they say even on the instruction manuals and on the warranty cards, if you read it carefully, and this applies to pretty much any airsoft gun that you buy, like whether it be to us or anyone else, that's going to apply regardless of where you go. Like it does not matter. You cannot use those low quality BBs, because not only, again, on the best like case scenario is that they're just going to perform real shit, right?
Yeah.
The best case scenario is that you're not going to be as accurate. The best case scenario, they're going to just go all over the place, right?
Yep.
And that's, okay, like that's pretty bad. But the worst case scenario, again, is just completely stripping. Yeah, because it goes inside the gearbox. That can strip your gears. That can cause so many other issues, electrical issues, because it can cut up your wiring. Like we've seen it all.
It could tear your bucking.
Oh yeah.
It could again jam inside the barrel itself. There's just so many things that can go wrong. Spend the extra few bucks, get yourself some good quality BBs, and you'll be happy in the long run.
Yeah. No, I think that's got to be that's a pretty like easy one to go for, right? Pretty simple. Just make sure you're buying your BBs from a reputable airsoft brand. But let's assume, right, that something does happen, like with the BB itself, right? Something it gets stuck, right?
We should have bags of BBs.
We should have bags of BBs. Just to show. I wish I had like a thing of like CrossFit BBs. You're like, oh god.
Oh no.
Actually, I got something for you.
No, do not.
No. I got something ready, right, nice for you guys. Here, I'll be right back.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So as Isaiah pulls out something that's gonna be gross, just got to reiterate that, guys. I've broken so many airsoft guns just because of poor BBs and my lack of knowledge when I first started airsoft. So we want to prevent you guys from making the same mistakes. Learn through our mistakes, our lessons, so you guys can have a better experience overall. Because let me tell you something, breaking your airsoft gun on something as simple as poor quality BBs will piss you off in a way that you didn't know that you can get mad, okay? It's ridiculous. It's absolutely just Sad. Oh god. Okay. So these are actually funny. So these are actually old BBs that I believe are still listed on the website. These are 0.25 gram BBs, I believe. 0.25 gram. Oh, I'm sorry, 0.15.
Yeah.
Sorry, that's what I meant to say. 0.15 gram. It says 25% heavier than a 0.12, 0.12 gram BB. Increased speed. That's not how that works.
I don't think that's
Increased accuracy.
Definitely not.
I mean, compared to a 0.12,
I mean,
probably.
maybe.
Increased impact.
Sorry, I don't know where that one came from. All the dust.
Yeah, bless you. Yeah, I don't know.
Maybe they
that.
mean like it shatters more, which is a definite red flag.
I don't. Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like it impacts more. It shatters completely.
I'm fairly sure that's not what they mean.
I hope not.
But looking at the BBs themselves, these do look to be more polished than normal. As in, you don't see the seam line, but they don't look. You know how like BBs have like a sheen to it?
Yes, they don't have that sheen.
Yeah, it looks matte, which is
a little concerning.
Open? Oh, it is open. Yeah, these. Oh yeah, they feel kind of coarse.
Oh,
so honestly, so guys, if you did buy like this bucket of BBs or something similar to this, these will be great for grenades.
Yeah,
grenade launchers.
Something that doesn't actually shoot. You know, yeah. Like as long as it's not an actual gun, you could use this. And don't get me wrong, you could use this in an airsoft gun if you were using maybe like a cheap like Springer.
Yeah.
Something like that, you know, where it doesn't actually require high quality BBs. Now, obviously, it will work better with high quality BBs for sure, just like anything else. But something like this, I would personally, again, minimum. It already says 0.15, right? You should not be using that in an airsoft gun. Any decent airsoft gun minimum is going to require 0.20 gram and above. Yeah. Nothing lower.
At least 0.20.
Yeah.
Yeah, this right here. If you were going to use this in an airsoft gun, I'm talking like a $10 spring pistol.
Yeah.
That LPEG. Honestly, I probably wouldn't even recommend this in an LPEG.
Yeah, not me either.
Because that's a little bit more of an investment. Like you're going anywhere from $30 to $80 for an LPEG, and I would get pissed off if that broke. But like a $10 Springer, like take your loss.
Yeah, right.
That's.
You know what? It's the same birthday party where you got Springers as like a party favor, like in the goodie bag, and they also gave this out to everyone. I'd be okay with that. I'd be happy.
I could definitely find a use for this.
Right?
Again, like what Isaiah said and what I said, you could use this in grenades, grenade launchers, something that doesn't actually, like, it's not an airsoft gun that's shooting out BBs, but like something to cover like a wide area. Just like a bucket like this is probably like, I don't know, $10-15. It says it's 10,000 BBs. So like if you had like a reusable grenade, like the Airsoft Innovations, like Tornado, you could definitely use these style of BBs and, you know, not have to waste your good BBs in that.
Yeah.
So these do have a place, but
definitely not in an airsoft.
Not in your airsoft gun.
Not in your airsoft gun. But okay, yeah, going back, let's assume that you did get a jam, right? But that happened, whether you're using good BBs, bad BBs, and you have one of these bad boys, cool. There are incorrect ways of using this.
Yes. So in our last Range Talk podcast, we talked about the proper way of using the cleaning side of the cleaning unjamming rod. But there is the unjamming side, which I did talk about briefly. But Isaiah did mention that there is an incorrect way on how to use this. But before getting into the jam of a BB, I think we should talk about taking care of your inner barrel.
Okay.
So
fair enough.
So to prevent a jam from even happening, we talked about how to clean your inner barrel properly as well. And this is something that a lot of players don't do or don't even know how to do. So there are multiple videos online. We did our own videos.
Tutorials everywhere.
Yeah. You can find the way to do it correctly. There are a million ways to do it incorrectly.
Yeah.
So many different ways, okay? You could be using the wrong type of
cleaning application.
Yeah. Like if you're throwing like
I said last time,
WD-40 or something down
WD-40, use extra virgin olive oil mayonnaise or just olive oil as itself.
Yeah. Anything that isn't like silicone oil.
Yeah.
even rubbing alcohol can be used incorrectly.
I like using rubbing alcohol, but again, like you said, you can use it definitely incorrectly. If that rubbing alcohol makes any contact with any of the rubber components, like your bucking, yeah, it's gonna dry it out real quick and probably like disintegrate. Not like disintegrate it, but like
no.
God damn it.
No, yeah. No, yeah, it will definitely dry out your bucking. Even if you're like, if you do one of these and you just pour it straight down, it goes right into the gearbox.
Well, yeah, it can go right into the gearbox. So all your
mess
electronics,
up all the seals, well, I don't know about the electronics because it's
if you have an optical MOSFET.
It can leave a residue, yes, but like isopropyl, I forget the chemical name of it. But rubbing alcohol, I believe, is non-conductive. I believe so. I could be very wrong.
Could be very, very wrong right now. Don't
do your research. Don't quote us.
Just don't pour any liquids.
As a matter of fact, it's flammable. There's a spark that sometimes happens with the motor. Like, don't do it.
Yeah, I was about to say, like,
don't do it.
That's kind of dangerous, man.
It's absolutely dangerous. But yeah, there are a lot of different ways. So again, you're gonna want to do your research. Do not use like a real cleaning, like a real firearms barrel cleaning kit. Don't use like a metal brush.
No,
do not use like a straw cleaner. Have you seen those?
Yeah.
Like, don't use any of that.
Like pipe cleaners and
shit. Yeah. That's what I meant to say. Pipe cleaner. Like, all of that is terrible.
Yeah.
Remember,
you want to leave the inner barrel as like pristine, as polished, no scratches, no dents, no nothing in there.
Keep it as smooth
as possible.
As smooth as possibly. Let me fix. Pull that rag up.
Yeah,
it bothers me. But yeah,
OCDs get kicking in.
But yeah, it's one of those things again that can easily destroy your airsoft gun. Now, luckily, it is an easier fix.
Yes.
If it's just the barrel that got destroyed, okay, you're out like anywhere from like a $20 to
maybe $50, $60.
$50, yeah, barrel.
If you really want to go, like upgrade it and get something like really, really nice. I mean, Unicorn, again, you can get a decent one for like $30 to like $50.
Yeah, honestly, those are like the best bang for your buck. Because they come with the bucking.
You can also go like Promi as well if you want to go other brands. Those are like $60-ish.
Yeah.
I've used those. Those are good choices too.
Prometheus, yeah. The Mad Bull barrels, Action Army barrels.
Yep.
All of those will range you anywhere from, again, the $30-ish to even like depending on the length, probably like $90. Because I know like some of those longer like L96 barrels or VSR10 barrels can get quite expensive.
Yeah. Oh yeah, there was another thing too that you mentioned as well, like when it came to like we've gone over, rather, say like, okay, how not to go ahead and get a jam. Obviously by cleaning out your inner barrel.
Yep.
Let's assume you get a jam, just fucking happens, right?
Yeah.
You get the one BB that just got messed up in the like thousands that in the QC, right?
Mm-hmm.
You were talking about how there's a proper way to go ahead and use the unjamming rod. You want to go ahead and use, if I remember correctly, that side. Go ahead and actually force the BB down. Right?
Yeah.
But let's say you were to go ahead and put it the other way. What would happen?
So what would happen, so I said it before, if you look at the clean or the unjamming rod, it's basically like a triangle. It's like this. So yeah, flat, and then it has this angle. And then that angle will rotate depending on how you're holding the rod. You want the tip of the rod to be toward the top of the gun, toward the Picatinny or toward your optic.
Yeah.
And then you shove that down. This creates the ramp so the BB gets pushed downward. If you have it turned any other way, like let's say you're completely upside down, when you push it through, it will push it through the barrel back into the hop-up chamber, but it will not give you room to let the BB escape from the bottom, from the entrance of the hop-up unit where the magazine is being loaded from. So you do that, and it'll just like the air nozzle will go back, and it'll just kind of just be pushed back into the hop-up unit. But if you don't put it in the right way, the best way to do it is just to push it in until you feel it like kind of go back as far as possible, and then twist it. Eventually, it will line up perfectly, and then the BB will pop right out. So no problems there. But how to prevent jams? Okay, number one, we already talked about it.
Cleaning the barrel.
Clean the barrel. Number two,
good BBs.
Good BBs. That honestly, that's it. That's honestly.
Well, I think there's like one more. I feel like I do have to mention it because I have seen it before. Especially for my outdoor players, if you guys are going to be playing pretty rough with your guns, that's totally fine. Like, I get that. I play in the dirt quite frequently, right? I'm in trenches sometimes. I'm in the fucking trenches. I'm in trenches sometimes. Like, I'm in mud. You remember
Oh,
US
no.
Airsoft Field, right? Remember how they had their whole like puddles? Yeah, I was in there.
You were in the puddles?
Yeah, I was in the
My
puddles.
boy.
I was in the puddles, man.
You get down and dirty.
I do.
That's crazy.
But if you're gonna do that, don't like shove your airsoft gun into like mud or like dirt. I feel like that should be pretty obvious. I shouldn't have to say that, but I do have to, because I have seen too many guns that have been checked in where like, oh, it's not firing anymore, and I take a look and I'm like, I can't see anything, and I take it apart, right? I want to go take the upper receiver off. I look down the barrel assembly and I'm like, oh no, that's just all dirt.
Yeah,
that's just caked inside.
I've definitely said, and it might not even be on purpose.
No,
it could be one of those times where you're like running and like you go to take a knee and like just your muzzle just.
You forget how long you forget your or you're used to rocking like an SPR and you realize, oh, I'm having SPR.
Yeah, and like your barrel just takes a dive into the dirt. Takes a little,
maybe some mud,
desert swim, if you will.
Desert swim.
Yeah. And that could definitely happen. When that does happen, though, immediately like
try to clean it out.
Take out the magazine, like check it. Of course, be as safe as possible. You don't want to shoot your eye out. Honestly, if you're wearing your face protection, that's even better. Like try to clear it out. I would say take the magazine out, dry fire it to try and get some of the excess dirt out.
If it's not firing though, let's say you have, your BBs in, right? You put your magazine in. If you're shooting it and it's not firing and you know that there's BBs in there, don't keep trying to shoot it.
Yeah, that's another way. That's another way that you can break your airsoft gun. So if there is a jam in the barrel or in the hop-up unit, this is what happens. BBs are going to be continuously loaded into the airsoft gun or into the barrel, right? So the nozzle has space to move back, which means there is room for the magazine to push a BB upward. And what will happen is, even though it's jammed and BBs aren't coming out, it's still loading BBs into the barrel. It's going to get to the point where
the BBs just pile up.
Yeah, they're pile up,
like
and there's going to be no space. And then on that like last trigger pull, you can strip your piston, you can break your tappet plate, your air nozzle
itself.
Yeah, you could do significant damage, which will require professional tech work to get your gun up and running.
At that point, like, would you even bother like trying to clean out the barrel, or would you just say, frick, screw it, like just get an upgraded barrel at that point? Let's assume they didn't do much damage to any of the internals, and it was just the inner barrel that was just so caked on.
It depends. I would try to clean it, and if there was no significant damage to it, like there wasn't any like big gash from like any dirt or
that's
anything.
my concern, because if you're getting caked on mud in there, right, if it's mud, there's small enough like pebbles that you might not be able to see like immediately.
Exactly.
But that could leave like streaks or like scratches or like any sort of scrapes along the inner barrel itself.
Yep.
Like, so even if you clean it, would it even be like worth it to go ahead and keep it at that point?
Yeah, exactly. Honestly, that's going to be a case by case scenario, depending on what happened to the gun. Like if it took like a 20-foot fall and went just straight down like that, like for some reason your sling failed and you were on the second story and it went straight into the dirt just like that, and like more than likely, like there was something that got lodged into the barrel that destroyed it. Like, right. But if again you just like take a quick dip into some dirt, it depends also. Like for this, for instance, this is the KWA Ronin T10.
Yeah, it's a hardy gun.
It's a hardy gun, and it has this nice metal flash hider, right?
Yeah.
There's quite a good amount of space between the actual inner barrel itself and the tip of the muzzle.
Not only that, the receivers are also like built pretty damn strong too.
Yeah, absolutely. So if it impacts, I'm fairly sure not that much dirt or dust is going to get into the inner barrel. So I would do the general check to make sure. But again, it's going to be case by case.
And you were talking about dropping the airsoft gun, right? Like the sling failure. That had me so nervous when we were doing Operation High Tide.
Oh, really?
Because there was moments where we would step outside and you'd have to go on a little like stairwell on the outside. But you were like outside of the boat, so there's like just a little bit of railing there, and you fall over. You're
in the water.
Yeah, so I was worried about my gun the whole time. I was like, oh, please don't fall over. Please don't fall over. Please, for the love of God, sling, don't fail me now.
Oh my goodness, that is scary.
That is terrifying.
That's absolutely terrifying.
Because you drop your gun, it's adios. That gun's swimming with the fishes now.
Oh, dude, I've definitely lost the gun from the second story. Ended up on the first floor.
Really?
Yeah.
So we were able to find them.
Oh no, yeah.
Okay,
so I didn't lose it, but I lost it on person during the game. So,
okay.
This is back. This is so long ago. I think 2010, 2011.
Oh,
I
shoot.
got the Elite Force 1911 TAC, and at that time I was running one of those fabric droplet holsters.
Yeah.
Um,
We all had one of those.
yeah. And I had just used it. I just reholstered it, and I was like, it was at SC Village, and it was in, I forget the one of the center buildings, one of the 2-story buildings. I had just used it. I holstered it, but I didn't buckle it in because it's fabric. It doesn't have a like an automatic retention system. So something happened, and I had like, I think I was getting shot at, and I like jumped to the side really quick, and it like popped out of the holster, and just I was like right next to the stairs, and instead of bouncing down the stairs, it like went underneath the stair and then just went straight down. I was like,
man,
like I was so heated, and actually that caused that hammer to break. But I mean, that was second story drop.
Yeah, at least it was like a smaller piece that could very well be replaced. You know,
Yep.
they have those replacement part kits, but no, I could totally see that for like an AEG, right? Especially if you have like a lighter plastic one, right? Like maybe not even like like a polymer one, just a straight plastic one. If you drop one of those,
like a Lancer Tactical Gen 1,
like a Gen 1,
that'll honestly break not even at a
or a
one story drop. Oh yeah,
yeah. If you drop it in the right spot, that lower receiver is just done.
That's true, which is sad to see, honestly. Well, it is what it is.
But thankfully, I haven't dropped any of my stuff like recently, and when I have, it's usually been like other stuff. Thankfully, it had nothing to mess with the integrity of the inner barrel or the barrel assembly as a whole. But there's actually another fairly easy thing that you shouldn't do with your Airsoft AEG. But again, we have to say it because people do it. It's actually using the wrong type of battery for your Airsoft gun.
Yes.
Yeah, this is a big one.
Oh, yeah.
So what we have right here is going to be, doesn't really matter what brand, but this is a Lance Tactical 11-1 1300 milliamperage battery. Now, this is an 11-1 volt LiPo battery. Now, this is a battery that I typically prefer to use on most of my Airsoft guns. And a lot of high-end guns, not all of them, but a lot of high-end Airsoft guns are actually going to pair very well with this level of voltage from an Airsoft gun or from an Airsoft battery. It will increase the rate of fire, and the trigger response is going to be a lot snappier. But there are some downsides with this, especially when in use with let's say a lower, I don't want to say like low quality, but let's say, yeah, like
a more affordable Airsoft gun.
More affordable Airsoft gun.
One that doesn't have as many like
Gucci internals.
Yeah, or reinforced parts. The problem with like a more budget-friendly Airsoft gun is, they have to
keep the price low.
Yeah, they have to keep the price low. So they're trying to find the balance of performance, reliability, and cost, right?
Yeah.
So obviously, the more expensive the gun is, technically, the better quality the gun should be. Take that
Should
with a
be.
grain of salt.
Yeah, should be.
Because
there are some brands out there that
just it is what it is.
Yeah.
But with a 11-1 LiPo or something bigger. So in Airsoft, we've talked about like LiPo batteries in Airsoft before. Go check out our videos on batteries.
Very informative.
Yeah.
He makes fun of me if you didn't know. That guy that he's referring to with the dog that almost burned down the house, that was me.
I did mention that.
You did mention
That's hilarious.
Jazz and I were watching that video because we'll watch our videos sometimes. Like, even though I'm not in it, we'll just like, hey, you want to watch the latest GI videos? Like, yeah. So we'll watch it. And she was listening to, she's like, Isa, no. Why did you tell them that? And I was like, I had to.
It was an emergency.
It was an emergency. You said the house was on fire. I had to come home.
That's hilarious. No, but yeah. So in a lot of Airsoft guns, an 11-1 LiPo will work great. But this could be too much voltage for some Airsoft guns.
Yeah.
Where because what Isaiah said with the 11-1 LiPo, it is a higher voltage and it's able to discharge more power faster. You are increasing the trigger response, the rate of fire of the Airsoft gun.
Like, it's going to sound great when you put it in, right?
Oh,
especially you've never done it before. It sounds amazing when you plug it in. It's
absolutely.
Like, oh, what? This is the easiest upgrade in the world. I don't need anything. I'll just plug an 11-1 in everything.
Yeah. Yeah. But you are increasing the stress on the Airsoft gun.
A lot.
Now, generally speaking, it's not really increasing the stress of that each trigger pull has, but because you're able to shoot it faster, it's wearing itself out faster, if that makes sense. Like, it's not like if I were to compare one single trigger pull with an 11-1 versus a 7.4, like, is one going to be more damaging to all of the mechanical parts? No. It's going to cycle the same amount of way. Just the motor is just going to be running a little bit faster. That's going to be the one thing.
And warmer, I guess.
Yeah, it'll generate more heat. That's actually what I was going to bring up. A higher voltage battery could be very detrimental to your electronics.
Yeah.
So if you have a standard trigger assembly,
Like you just have basic like trigger contacts. Like you don't have any sort of MOSFET or anything protecting it, or micro switch trigger, or switch life extenders.
Yeah. With the higher voltage battery, it's generating more heat, and any of the connectors have an increased chance of burning out. Whether it be like the plastic on the trigger assembly melts, or the contact just like
burns out.
Yeah, it just gets like the burn marks. Like I don't know if it's like carbon or whatever, but
if you this is a sort of like comparative to it, I guess. Like if you ever take like a light switch, right, and you just like flick it on and on and on and off, right, like super fast, like eventually you're gonna burn out that light bulb, or that you're gonna burn out the actual like electronics there. Like if you look at it, it's like completely charred black.
Yeah, exactly.
That's basically what your trigger contacts are gonna look like.
Yep, exactly, and that happens quite a
bit,
a lot of times, because with the power of an 11-1,
well, power, baby,
the airsoft feels more powerful as well, and they'll want to try and shoot as fast as possible.
You get kind of drunk off your own power, sometimes, you know.
Yeah, and because of that, it just it increases how fast the wear and tear builds on your airsoft gun.
Yeah.
Now, granted, like I said before, there are plenty of airsoft guns like KWA, like the Zion Arms guns here, that can handle an 11-1
MGC4
box. Yeah, the MGC4, which Boaz is getting B-roll with right now. We'll show it off in a little bit, but yeah, we like there are plenty of airsoft guns that can handle it, but this is a reference that the Boss Man made a while ago that really stuck with me. Airsoft guns are basically RC cars.
Yeah.
Right? So
RC cars shaped like guns. They have the exact same like internals for the most part, right? As far as like how they operate, because an AEG is going to be pretty much running near identical technology to an electric powered RC car.
Yeah, pretty much. So you can get heavier or higher voltage batteries. Just because you can
doesn't mean you should.
Doesn't mean you should. Okay, like even like a lot of aftermarket MOSFETs, they're only rated for an 11-1 LiPo.
Yeah.
Maybe the next sell up, which is I think a 14.8 volts LiPo.
I've never actually even used one before.
I used it once during the torture test video of the Lance Tactical Gen 3, and I'm actually very like surprised that the MOSFET still worked.
Yeah.
The motor burnt out. So the motor burnt out because of like just the burnout from the active braking in the airsoft gun.
The Nebula MOSFET offers, and many other MOSFETs do the same thing, Gate Titans as well. Active braking can definitely, like, one, it's going to drain your battery a lot faster, but it puts a lot more stress on the motor as well.
Yeah.
So if you ever notice that if you ever have like really nice setup guns with like cool MOSFETs and everything, you'll notice that especially with the motor that you get, it's going to end up like getting warmer much faster.
Yep.
That's what that actually is. I've had that question quite a bit. Like, why does my motor get so warm when I have this upgraded gun? And it's like, oh, it's because this.
Yeah. So the way that it was explained to me, active braking, basically, you pull the trigger and it will send a jolt of electricity to fire the gun. And when the sensor, whatever type of sensor it is detected the full cycle, it'll send a second jolt of electricity to stop the motor.
Yeah.
So you're basically not doubling the amount of electricity going into the motor per trigger pull, but again, it's adding more stress to it.
Without it, essentially, you would, every time you pull that trigger with an 11-1, because it's so much, you could run the possibility of like overcycling.
Yes.
Where you pull the trigger on semi, and instead of just shooting once, it could end up shooting like twice, maybe even like a 3-round burst sometimes. I've seen that happen before.
Oh yeah, no, you'll definitely see overcycling in airsoft guns that don't have any type of programmable electronics. So especially if you upgrade something, or if the gun just like is rated for a specific battery voltage.
Yeah, some guns are just not even some of the most high end guns like Togomura recoil shocks, right?
Yep.
Those, I own one of those. I only use a 7.4 with that gun.
Oh really?
Yeah, like you can use an 11-1, don't get me wrong, and it's fast as fuck.
Yeah.
But every tech that I have ever talked to will say the same thing: never use an 11-1 with this bad boy, like ever. Stick with a 7.4. And honestly, even with a 7.4, the rate of fire is actually really nice. Never. Cisco, never. I know that look of guilt. Don't do it, man. No.
Oh, I've only ran mine like 3
That's
or 4
true.
times.
You don't play airsoft anymore.
That's not true. I just haven't had a reason to run it. Like, but when I did run it, I was running an 11-1, and honestly, I could feel with each trigger pull, like,
I'm dying.
What are you doing? Stop it, please. This is too much power. Like it's like you can tell when
You're killing it, man.
It's like maybe it's just because I'm a little bit more seasoned.
Yeah.
Like I could tell, like
you can hear the stress.
Yes,
I'm killing my gun.
It's barely about to break down. It's like, come on. But yeah, there are just some guns that are rated for a lower voltage battery unless you upgrade it by yourself.
Yeah,
but getting into upgrading by yourself,
that's another one too.
This is a whole other topic.
There's a whole rabbit hole, man.
This is
but yeah, we can get a little bit into it. Like, okay, so upgrading your gun.
Yes,
that is definitely something that we at Airsoft GI do encourage you to do
with
Airsoft. Again, especially if you want to see increased performance from your Airsoft gun. Let's say you've been running it for a while and you just want to go ahead and just start, get to that next level of performance with your Airsoft gun. You can do it. Absolutely, you can. We've seen some crazy good builds off of many different platforms, especially the version 2 gearbox, version 3. It's one of the easier ones you can go with. Now, just because it is one of the easier ones you can build, doesn't always mean that it's done well every single time. Yeah. If that makes any sort of sense, right?
No, absolutely.
There are many of self-proclaimed. Thank you so much. MGC4 right here.
That's
there are many.
My personal one.
Oh, well.
Here goes the Mark II.
There's the Mark II.
There it is.
There it is.
Get yours at airsoftgi.com right now, baby. They are almost here.
You want to put that on that side?
Yes. Yeah. And we didn't mention yet, but you can get 10% off.
Any of these Airsoft guns.
Any of these Airsoft guns.
This one. You can get off of this one.
The R15.
You can get off of this one.
That is the KWA Ronin T10.
You can get off this one.
The Ronin PW9 Mod O.
Pretty much anything at Airsoft GI, so long as it's not on a shocker deal, it'll count. So even if it's already discounted, you apply that 20th coupon code and you'll be getting that additional 10% off on top of that.
Yes. So again, 20TH, that is in celebration of the 20th anniversary of Airsoft GI. So you guys can do it. Yeah, that is definitely one of those things where you want to just be careful, because there are plenty of upgrades that you can do by yourself.
And don't get me wrong,
that are really easy.
If you're brave enough, then yeah, if you want to do something a little bit more intensive, right, or something a little bit more like, involved, then sure, absolutely. We offer plenty of YouTube tutorials. There's many different videos and online guides to help you get the job done. Yeah. But with that said, we highly recommend you study those a lot and thoroughly before actually attempting anything requiring you to, even just removing the gearbox from the body itself, right? It sounds pretty easy, but even in and of itself, that can be quite difficult.
It can be. And guys, we do have our own series where I go over how to build an M4 specifically from...
Good series, by the way. I like that you actually went into detail and actually went and talked about, like, correct me.
That was honestly one of the longest series that we had to do. Not only time-wise, because, like...
that took a while, though.
It did take a long time for us to complete the series, because each part that we needed to film took a certain amount of time. And I just didn't have that amount of time to put into the video until that specific time we were able to film, right? And I wanted to be as clear and as detailed as possible, so you can easily understand it. And it's not like, hey, this XYZ part needs to be done this way. Like, I wanted to try to explain it the way that I would like for it to be explained.
Same.
Because when I was taught, it was actually quite difficult. No one explained the terminology to me. No one did that. I had to try to just kind of piece it together myself.
Which, by the way, techs out there, we love you and we appreciate you.
Oh, absolutely.
But man, sometimes you are the worst teachers ever.
Valid. That's fact.
Like, I asked him, like, what does this do? Oh, it just does this.
Yeah.
Talk about Will. Will, if you're watching, screw you, man.
Oh, no. Will, he's not that great.
No, he's a great, fantastic tech.
Oh, no.
Just not good at teaching.
That's what I meant. Will, great tech. Teacher,
no.
Yeah. And again, this isn't a shot to any of you great techs out there.
No,
there are a lot of you guys that know how to build airsoft guns phenomenally.
I've seen, even within our own community, right? We've seen guys like Cutter and Mint and Prime Tech Customs too. Like, we've seen some of the stuff that you guys have built out there, and it's absolutely amazing. And and it's cool, right? And it's good to know that like level of technician still exists out there, right? That the tech is not extinct. However, there are a lot of self-proclaimed techs out there, and which we do recommend that you guys be wary of. Some guys that'll be like, oh yeah, I'm a tech, for give me like $100 and I'll go ahead and DSG your gun, right?
$100? That sounds way too good.
That sounds way too. That's what I'm saying, man.
That sounds way too good. Or I upgrade my inner barrel. Tech.
Right? I'm no tech.
No.
When the check engine light comes on, so you open up the hood to make sure it's still there. Tech. Mechanic.
Yeah. No, so yeah, I mean, of course, like there isn't like the school of airsoft, right?
I
Where you
wish.
could just learn every little bit
Every
in
little
and out
thing.
of an airsoft gun. Unfortunately, there's not. There's just a lot of like self experimentation, a lot of like airsoft forums,
A lot of
chat
YouTube.
groups, a lot of YouTube videos, but mainly a lot of the self teaching because some things um, it's hard to translate from the video to actual you doing it.
I think one of the easier ones though that we can go over is going to be like, or one of the easiest upgrades that we can tell people again how to properly do it and how not to do it.
Yeah,
Was going to be taking. We've done the inner barrel already.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
why don't we go over how to go ahead and swap out the motor?
So okay, this is a very, 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 very,
very.
no. So like I need to stress this because
Yes.
The actual just replacing and installing the new motor is simple.
Yes.
You literally like on your airsoft gun, like especially like on the Zion arms where you could just literally open the door, unplug it, swap the motor, reinstall it, you're good to go. No, not really.
Not technically.
So because the way that each motor is built, they're never going to be exactly the same dimensions to each other.
Yeah.
In terms of here, I'll pull this out actually. In terms of
the Ifrit.
It's an Ifrit motor. It's actually a great motor.
Is that really supposed to say it?
Yeah.
Ifrit.
Ifrit.
I've been saying Ifrit this whole time.
No, yeah, Ifrit.
Okay.
And
well, I was wrong. Once again.
I believe they're all names of some type of creature. There's Ifrit, Basilisk. There's Titan, and then there's one more. There's one more motor that they had.
I know what you're talking about, but I don't remember what it's called.
I forget the name. It's Titan's the 30. There's like the 40K. Talaria?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, I think they're all the name of a beast. I don't know. GNG, shoot me the details. Charlie, hit me up. But yeah, so the shape of the casing, the actual shell of the motor, the size of the end plate, the length of the shaft, and even the size of the bevel gear are going to be or no pinion.
I was about to say.
Yeah, I'm sorry, pinion. Bevel.
Yeah.
The pinion makes connection with the bevel gear. But all these sizes are going to be different, and the way that they fit inside the pistol grip itself
is going to be a little different.
It's going to be a little bit different too. But that little bit of difference can affect how the motor is engaging the gears.
Even the shape of the actual like motor grip itself, right?
Yeah.
Like there can be, if you leave it with a stock one, right, that might be fine and dandy, right? But if you were to go and say swap it out for like, I don't know, like say more vertical, yeah, like for a slightly more vertical like pistol grip or like a PTS one, for example, that's another one. Even though I love those grips, that puts the motor.
That has a PTS grip.
There you go. If like one of these grips, right, it kind of puts the motor at like a weird angle that strikes the bevel gear.
Yeah. So it'll definitely change that angle. So like we've been talking about like enhanced angles in airsoft. The reason we talk about that is because it puts your wrist at a more comfortable position. If it's more angled backward, your wrist would be more bent, and over time, this angle becomes like more stressful on your wrist and
carpal tunnel,
and you get fatigue from it. But
arthritis.
Yeah, like VFC and Tokyo Marui. Well, the original VFC 8.2 grip and like Tokyo Marui. That's like the angle that you should put the motor at.
Yes.
I forget the exact like degree. But it's definitely about spacing as well because you can actually modify your pistol grip inside to get a better angle to engage the gears better. So why is this important? Well, actually, before we even get in, I'll talk about angle first. So these teeth, the reason the angle is important is because these teeth are linear, right? And so are the teeth on the gears. If it's slightly off, it might be engaging the gears like at like a slight angle. So it's not meshing properly. This will
in a worst case scenario, it could lead to stripping.
Oh yeah, that's worst case scenario. But when you first notice this, you'll notice that the noise of the motor and the gears are a little bit higher pitched.
A little off.
It'll be might be a little bit more grindy.
Whenever you're adjusting your motor height, you're trying to get that like perfect amount of like, you don't want it too tight, you don't want it too loose.
Yeah.
And you can typically tell by like the feel of the actual like pistol grip itself, right? When you're feeling it, how much it vibrates. That's how Taylor said it.
Yep.
And then also by the sound as well.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be too high pitched where it sounds like it's like really windy.
Yep.
But it shouldn't be so low that it's barely catching. It needs to strike it just right and properly mesh. So it's not here where it's not catching, but it's not here where it's too tight and it's not moving.
Yeah.
Just right. But because it puts it at a weird angle, well, one, like I said, it can go ahead and strip it because it's not hitting it evenly. Yeah. And it's only hitting one part.
Yeah. Or just like the teeth itself, it's hard to describe because think of each tooth like a blade, right? So if there are the blades here, the incoming blade could be slightly off, and then it's forcing itself into the gears. Like there's different ways on how obviously like the gears could line up, and they're not self-correcting.
Yeah.
Okay, so that is definitely important for installing the motor. But another thing that you need to consider is probably the most important part about a motor swap is actually how the gears are shimmed.
Yes.
So the placement of the gears in the gearbox are affected by shims, literally just spacers that push the gear from one side to the other of the gearbox.
If you don't know what shims are, shims in a nutshell, honestly, the way it was taught to me, are basically just like spacers that are used for your gears inside the gearbox in order to, I guess, kind of space them out just right. So again, so that they are properly meshing. That's how it was described to me.
That's literally what I just said.
No, like, you didn't say it exactly like that. You did not.
I did.
No, you didn't.
I said it's a spacer to figure out where the gears are going to be set. So each gear in the gearbox is going to be shimmed accordingly. Now, out of the factory,
it's factory standard.
Yeah, it's going to be good enough, so it's solid, but it's not going to be over tight where it's going to cause drag and force the motor to draw more power from the battery.
That's assuming, though, especially when it comes to the more affordable guns, that's assuming that you're going to be using the battery that, if it comes included with one, that you're only using that one, though.
Yeah,
the
true.
problem with, and even then, you can still have problems with it. The problem is once you start upgrading the battery, right? You say you want to go ahead and use an 11-1 on this airsoft gun that you have. Stripping your gears can be like a result of this friction that you're getting because, again, it's not like finely shimmed. There's a very big difference between finely shimmed from like a tech who knows what he's doing and he wants to ensure that there is minimal to almost no friction whatsoever anytime that the gears are rotating versus like, again, like Cisco said, just good enough from the factory.
Yeah. So there are times where you install the new motor into the OEM gearbox untouched, and the motor might get pushed off to the side a little bit because the gear itself is like too close to the center of the gearbox, right? The spacing of it is just slightly off. That adds friction. That will, again, what Isaiah says, could cause a gear strip, which is terrible. You got to replace your gears. Or like the best case scenario, but still pretty bad, is, again, it's adding additional friction to the motor, which means the motor needs to draw more power from the battery, which could drain your battery faster.
Yeah.
Which is definitely a bigger problem, especially if you run like LiPo batteries or lithium-ion batteries.
So you can kill this battery out in the middle of the field because, again, it's drawing more power than you realize.
I've actually seen a lot of people use because of how tight their gearbox is, they'll try to use it and blow up their battery. It is possible. It is definitely possible. So again, like that's definitely worst case scenario. They just didn't know what they were doing.
Yeah.
But you definitely want to shim the gears to meet the new motor. As easy as it is to just swap it out, and maybe you just do that and you adjust the motor height, and it sounds decent. Maybe you got a little lucky. All right, maybe it's not as dramatic of a difference, which is great. Even then, though, even if it's slightly off, I would still reshim it to the new motor just to be safe.
Don't get us wrong. Like you can definitely, like Cisco said, you can definitely just throw in a motor as is and adjust motor height, and you could get fine. It'll be fine with it. Just bear in mind, it is always going to be recommended. Anytime you ask a tech that knows what they're talking about, they're always going to say, technically speaking, you can, but we always recommend reshimming the entire gearbox. Again, it sounds tedious to do, but it is going to be worth it for the increased efficiency overall. Because again, that alone can go ahead and help like increase the efficiency of your battery because you're not using so much energy to try to cycle it.
Yep, exactly. But continuing to talk about tech stuff, we see a lot of these self-proclaimed techs.
Yes.
That say, oh, I can do that high FPS build. I can do that high rate of fire build. And then
yeah, bro, you want a DSG shooting at 400 on the dot? Like, I can get that, bro. You've seen those offers.
Yeah. Well, see, there are techs that can do it.
Absolutely.
We want to praise all those good techs out there. You guys, shout out to you. But there are a lot of techs out there that say they can do it. And they might be able to get the gearbox together.
Like, it definitely achieves the goal of getting to that, like, performance spec, but how long and consistently can it do it?
Here's the thing. DSGs are already one of those.
Those are a ticking time bomb, man.
Yeah. It's not a matter of how or if it will break. It's just a matter of when. Yeah, it's gonna break. Something eventually will break. Honestly, if you do a DSG build, you want to build a stress point or a failure point into the gun. Preferably, a lot of people like the piston. A lot of people do the piston because that is a cheap, affordable fix.
Fair enough.
Right?
Yeah. You can get like a full metal rack piston for like less than $30.
Yeah, especially if you go for like a quality DSG, like a Siege Tech gear. Like just the DSG gear itself, I think is like $100.
Yeah.
Like just the DSG. If you get like the full set, it's like 150, maybe $200. That's just for the gear set. That's a whole airsoft gun.
Sometimes that's like more than the gun itself is going to cost.
That's absolutely insane. And then you have to get a high quality motor that can be anywhere from like 60 to 100 something bucks. And then you're gonna need like good bushings. Now, this is actually another thing.
Bushings versus bearings.
Bushings versus bearings. In a nutshell, bushings are better than bearings. Okay, they're just more solid, especially if you do a high stress build. I want to stress this because
I see what you did there. Anyway,
if you aren't pushing the limit of stress in your airsoft gun, if you're just trying to make it like very efficient, like the MGC4, like the way that we built the MGC4, it's very efficient. And these have bearings, or these have bearings, not bushings. 8mm bearings. We tested this between bearings and bushings, what they had available at the factory.
And from what we noticed, it wasn't any sort of major discernible difference
between
the two.
Yeah, honestly, it didn't make that big of a deal because of how efficient we made our system.
Yeah,
which is fucking dope because it shoots great.
But any other build that didn't have that level of efficiency in mind, we would always recommend using bushings like every single case. Right? Especially if you're trying to go with like, again, a high stress build of any kind. Definitely want to stick with bushings. You can't, don't get me wrong, you could use bearings, but a lot of times what ends up happening is that the housing on the bearing itself usually breaks. That's actually when I first started using my 249.
Here, I'll actually bring them over there.
That was one of the first like guns that I had tried to upgrade myself, and I didn't have replacements, so I just used bearings. And the housing, the actual bearings themselves, they cracked.
Yeah. So that is like the most
common.
The most common thing that'll fail. So these right here. Oh, come on, focus. Hey, you might focus. There we are. So you guys can see the spaces in between. You can see the ball bearings inside the bearings. Okay, these are actually really good because they increase the smoothness of how the gears spin.
But smooth.
Yeah, but more moving parts, more fragile compared to bushings right here, where you see they are solid, they're encased. These are more reliable for those high stress builds. So that's what you got to keep in mind as well. FLT, fantastic brand.
Lifetime warranty too.
But there are the brands like that still make really good quality.
Oh, absolutely.
Bushings and bearings like Modify makes good ones. Element are actually really good. I believe SHS makes bearings and bushings. So do a little bit of testing. These are actually relatively affordable. They're not too expensive. I believe the FLTs are like 20-ish bucks.
Yeah, they're 20-ish bucks, but they're going to be one of the more expensive ones you can get on the market. Yeah. But honestly, for that much, knowing that these are supposed to be like Basic like lifetime warranty, supposed to be near indestructible, and even if they do break, again, lifetime warranty, worth it. Worth the $20.
Yeah, absolutely.
Available at Airsoft GI in different sizes too.
Restocking on 8mm because we know that's
also qualifies for coupon code 20th.
Oh yeah, they save 10%. So
like my transitions.
Absolutely, facts, baby. But yeah, with swapping your bushings or bearings out for aftermarket ones, that's something that you're going to need to change or reshim your gears as well.
Yeah.
Because again, just like the motor, each part individually is not made to the same spec, no matter how tight you can get it. Like, granted, there are companies that can get it like damn near perfect, but if you're taking like an OEM, like one, like where they're mass producing them, it's not going to have like the level of quality control compared to like
of course,
where they're inspecting every
that's what they're making versus like a manufacturer, right? They're just going, all right, we just need to like make how many billions of freaking like bushings, right, or shims that we need to make.
I mean, you gotta, the way you think about it is each gun needs 6.
Yeah, so it's like however many airsoft guns are on the world, multiply that by 6. Like, damn, damn.
I mean, shout out to the techs that know, but if you want to like really maximize the smoothness of your gear set, you do a combination of bearings and bushings.
I couldn't even imagine doing that myself.
It's like, it's definitely one of those things where you need to test everything. So, So, like, you want obviously the bearings and bushings, especially from a separate brand, like you want to make sure that they're somewhat leveled out together so you can shim the gears properly. Because if one sticks out a little bit higher than the other, you may not be able to shim it correctly. But there are definitely different combinations that you could do to make it work. But yeah, I mean, that goes down to shimming too. I'm just, at the end of the day, shimmer giver.
Yeah, but if worst case scenario, let's say you were just going to go ahead and do the motor by itself, I do have to stress this. Please make sure that if you're just going to do a motor swap and that's it, fine, fair, whatever you want to do, boy. When you do, make sure that you have the correct tabs plugged into the right side. What can end up happening? Yes, this is a very big one, and I know you've seen this as well. Honestly, like, it's very easy to do because they're like color coordinated. You know, red is usually going to end up being positive, solid black, or even just alone, like just silver plain, is usually going to be negative, right? Do not go ahead and think like, oh, it doesn't matter which one you plug it into. No, it 100% does. You 100% can go ahead and like end up reversing the polarity.
Oh boy, you will destroy your airsoft.
That's a quick way to do. Ask me how I know.
I haven't done that, but I have seen that. I mean, you think of it like a car battery.
Yeah.
Don't mess it up. So at the bottom of then broke this. So you can see the red marking on here, and then the just a silver marking. Typically, the red marking is positive, and then the no marking is negative or ground. So simple. Yeah. It's that simple. I say, so you want to show off some of the guns we have on the table really quick? Yeah. All of these qualify for coupon code 20th.
All of these guns are cool, but honestly, I'm going to start off with the big bad right now. This is going to be my absolute favorite gun right now. Again, I keep saying it, best gun of 2023. You can quote me on that. Best gun of 2023.
I'm the one that said it too, baby.
There you go. This is the MGC4 Mark II. This is going to be the Mark II series. This one is going to be the original, the Mark I. Yeah, go for it.
So this one is a little bit, Guccified.
Let's see if we can go ahead and grab that.
That was my boy.
Yeah, honestly, like this with this accessories, like
now flip it to the other side so they can see the
mail game. No, you want to show your face. There you go. There you go. That's his face right there. That's still like to me surreal that it's like I know this guy.
It's weird.
He used to be sales lead when I started.
That's me. Strange.
Oh, what a handsome face.
Yeah. You flatter me. Yeah, both of them are on the way. They will be here. Today's the 12th, the 13th, like in like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So definitely pre-order yours right now. Again, use coupon code 20th
for that additional 10% off.
And they will get automatic free shipping and earn reward store credit with the Wombo combo. That's just additional things, baby.
Same thing with any of these accessories you see on here. These are all available at Airsoft GI right now. So if you want to go ahead and deck these guys out with accessories, use coupon code 20th for those orders as well. Yeah, these things are, honestly, it's just so freaking nice.
Yeah. I mean, so we do have our full video about this going live actually this Friday.
Yeah.
So I go into detail about like the thought process of what we did, how we like implemented a lot of your guys' feedback who purchased the
original,
the Mark I. It's now dubbed the Mark One, since we have Mark Two. But yeah, like one of the biggest things that we were talking about uh, on improving, because the gun accuracy and range wise shoots great.
It was more the rate of fire that we heard
Yeah.
was like that they wanted to be improved. And yes, I know we just talked about it. We didn't just do the motor swap. We made sure they were shimmed.
No, they were built and shimmed to the new motor.
Yes.
Okay, and they're freaking great.
Yeah, no, they're amazing when it comes to their efficiency.
Yes.
The trigger pull on that is just so light. It's so snappy. You know what? I'm just gonna I'll plug a battery into this bad boy. Do it.
Oh no!
Oh yeah, it's Dean.
Oh no!
I'm gonna grab a battery.
Okay, go grab a battery. So I've been shooting it like for the past couple weeks since we got it in. It's definitely a blast. I mean, I do love the original one, but also for the Mark II, we did decide to go for a carbine length. So the 14 millimeter outer barrel and the rail, which means the inner barrel is carbine length as well, 6.03 Type 4, but it is 363 millimeters. So right up to the end of the outer barrel there. So make it a little bit longer, chunky. If you're a gig Chad like me and Isaiah, you run carbine length guns indoors like a boss, like a gangster. Oh no, wrong one. The wrong side, Isaiah. Oh no. But yeah, again, this is a definitely collaborative effort, and I said it in our video. And I've said it multiple times, it's a dream come true for me to make an airsoft gun. But this is because of you guys. Your voice, your opinions, and your feedback matters more than just what I say. Because like I'm only one guy, and listening to you guys taking that feedback and finding the best solution to implement everything.
A community built project.
Absolutely. This is literally built by the male gang. The culture, the community that started it all and made this happen, which is absolutely crazy. So, and see, that's that Zion Arms Nebula MOSFET. That does come in all of the Zion Arms M4s. This is the R15. This is the PW9.
Let's just shoot this bad boy.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, and I need to load the magazine. I'm an idiot.
Idiot. You are an idiot sandwich.
What are you? An idiot sandwich.
Idiot sandwich.
Can't hear you, an idiot sandwich chef. Dude, I love Gordon Ramsay.
Yeah, but even guns like Design Arms R15 shoot really great out of the box. I mean, I will say that the MGC4, in terms of rate of fire. I mean, I'm just saying. We do have a stronger motor. That's the reason. But yeah, we're shooting about I think like 25-ish BBs a second with the 11-1 LiPo.
Let's take a listen to this bad boy. Woo! I know you want to shoot this. I know you always shoot it, but I know you want to.
Yeah, it never gets old. It never does. Oh, 3 for 3, baby!
Like laser accurate, man.
It's just. And if you can hear it, if you guys can actually hear it, like the motor, the way like the motor height is and the way it's shimmed, it's not really high pitched. It's not really grindy. That's definitely like the one thing that you're gonna want to make sure you do when upgrading your own airsoft.
Like this is one of those guns that's like you literally don't have to do anything to this. You buy it.
Yep.
And that's it. That's all you need. Like it's competitive right out of the box, and I do mean actually competitive. This is better than some like custom builds that I've seen out on the field as well. Because again, a lot of those self-proclaimed, not attacking anyone in particular.
No, yeah, of course.
But there are some builds out there that say, "Oh yeah, super custom." You know, I put all these new gear sets in, and this still blows it out of the water.
Oh yeah, I mean, here's the thing too. Like again, not to like knock on anybody, but there are just some times where a lot of the hype gets followed. Like someone will hype up, "Oh, this motor is the greatest motor. Oh, this gear set is the best gear set possible. Like, oh, this is the piston that'll never break. Yada yada, this and that." And sometimes that hype can just interfere with actual performance.
Not only that, it just like it elevates the expectations to a degree that's like not realistic.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, again, there are plenty of techs out there that have been able to achieve fantastic, like our Typhoon and our Storm series.
Yeah,
those guns are freaking crazy. Yeah. They're absolutely
But that took a lot of time, effort, and experimentation just to figure out like what combination of parts would actually work to get this equation. Right?
Yeah, no, like our techs went through the ringer. They went through like thousands of dollars of parts, doing like R&D, trying to figure out the best combination of what will work where, what gives the best performance, the best reliability, so on and so forth, to give you like the best performance and reliability that you can get at their different price points, because the Storm is going to be like a much more affordable like option, but
compared to the Typhoon.
Yeah, compared to the Typhoon. The Typhoon is like god tier airsoft gun.
Yeah,
like that's absolutely insane. But like even the Storm is like a really high end built airsoft gun with tremendous performance.
Yeah, no, it's absolutely insane. Like, and that takes a lot of time, effort, and skill, honestly, and just experience overall. Which, again, you guys can definitely go ahead and do. Us talking about all these internal parts, like we said before, we encourage you guys to go ahead and start upgrading your guns, because again, you want to achieve that next level of performance without having to buy a whole other airsoft gun. Yeah, 100%. Start getting into upgrades.
Oh yeah.
Even if it's just the smaller stuff, just start off small, baby steps, right? Start by swapping out that inner barrel. Swap out that bucky.
That is literally the easiest.
That's like the easiest one.
Well, for M4s.
Yeah.
For M4s for sure. Some airsoft guns may be a little bit more complicated to swap out, like the G36 or the AK.
AUG.
AUG, yeah. P90 is actually relatively
easy. It's actually a very easy one to do.
249 is actually easy too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, I guess it depends on, but typically, let's just take off free. Yeah, there are some that are easier, some that are harder, but pretty much every airsoft gun platform, especially the AR, we do encourage you guys to go ahead and start maybe going and looking into upgrading again, because again, depending on what you do, it can actually be very simple. Just keep in mind what it is that you're doing, how to do it properly, because again, even though they are easier things to do, that means they're also very easy to mess up.
Yes, absolutely. You just want to take your time doing it. Don't rush through anything. I forget what the saying is.
Spank him or flank him and spank him.
That's not what I was thinking. But basically, in the end, take your time, and that will pay off in the long run. So you can make sure that you're doing the job correctly the first time.
Yeah.
Like, would you install your car engine with haste? I wouldn't.
If I'm being chased by a Tyrannosaurus, yeah.
Let me tell you something. If you're being chased by a Tyrannosaurus, you do not have time. You do not have time to install a motor. Hell no. Okay? But, I mean, in your airsoft gun.
Like, no, why would you intentionally go about it? Like, this is going to be talk about the integrity, the internals of your airsoft gun, and it's, again, just lifespan, right? Yep. Why would you go ahead and rush through it? Take your time. Yep. Make sure you watch all the videos, watch all of our tutorials on how to go and do it. We have plenty of them. There are many available online. Make sure you follow along with those videos and those guides to make sure that you are doing it correctly the first time, as opposed to messing up and having to spend more money to do it the second time.
Yeah, and spending more money to fix the other parts that your mess up broke. Again, protect. It's your investment. Like no matter what price you spent on your airsoft gun, protect it. Make it work for you as long as possible. Get your money's worth out of it. Play as many games as you possibly can. I mean, I say that from personal experience as well, because I've broken guns that could have easily not been broken if I just took my time doing something. And because I not procrastinated, but I rushed it, it ended up biting me in the ass. So learn from my mistakes, please. Do yourself the favor. You'll be happier in the long run anyways. Are there any other things that we wanted to talk about on how to break your airsoft guns? We did take a like a good...
Actually, I think we actually covered everything on the list.
Did we really?
Yeah, literally everything.
That's crazy. All right, guys. Well, let us know if there's anything that we missed that you know could break your airsoft gun.
Might do a part 2 on this.
Yeah, we could dive in deeper. We can even go for gas blowbacks and sniper rifles.
Gas blowback actually would be pretty fun, because those are also very easy to go ahead and fuck up.
That's actually a system that you need to be more active in.
Yeah.
In maintaining.
Doesn't have as high a tolerance as AEG, so definitely we're probably going to be talking about it in the next one. But this has been another episode of the Range Talk. My name is Isaiah.
My name is Cisco.
We'll see you guys on the next one. Take it easy, guys.
Later, y'all.